Hi, it's Brian with the Turner Ranch. I am slightly behind getting this week's update out. It's been really busy. We went out of town for a couple days. Overall, the 1643 in my wet patch behind me is kind of most likely done. The 2501 is ramping up and starting to make some good gains. The 1005 Clementz is having some issues, or had some issues in the past week, and the farm plant is probably coming back into play, at least to get a pumpkin on it. So just follow along to see an update and see what issues I've been running into. Thank you. Today is Monday, July 15th. I am at the farm patch. This plant hasn't been neglected. It's pretty much dying in standing water. It was neglected for quite a while. I fertilized it last week when it was drier, when the ground started drying out. And it looks like the plant is starting to take off. It was planted right here. You can see the crown. But yeah, it's actually starting to green up and get some nice leaves, and the main vine is growing and it's starting to put out secondaries. So I'm actually gonna clear out some space for it and see what it can produce. So I got things cleared out better around here. Not perfect. It's really hard to get through the weeds on the ground with the rake. But here you can see that the plant is looking a lot better towards this end, towards the main vine tip. There was a pumpkin towards the tip, but I picked it off because plant's definitely not big enough to carry a pumpkin at this point, but I'm hoping this one will kick it into gear now. I am next to my 1005 Clementz pumpkin right now, and when inspecting the blossom end, I noticed, I'm not sure if you can see it real well, but it does not look good. I don't know, it doesn't look good at all. I am planning to remove this, and hopefully it doesn't go too deep into the pumpkin. I plan to, clean my knife with alcohol before I do it. And then I'll dab the wound or whatever with alcohol when I'm done and get a fan on this. I'm hoping it doesn't go too deep, and I'm hoping this does not take out the pumpkin. I may also put some sulfur on it. I don't know. I've only had to cut one off before, one blossom off before, and I put sulfur on it. It was my first year growing pumpkins, and I didn't realize that when you put the sulfur on it, if you drip any sulfur onto the pumpkin, it will scar. So you have to be super careful with the sulfur powder. If it drips down, it'll scar your pumpkin. So it doesn't look like that rot on the blossom end went deep into the pumpkin. I think it got it all cleaned up. Dabbed it with alcohol best I could, and I got a fan on it now. I'm actually gonna go get a hair dryer because I've used that in the past on a cool setting, and it helps dry things out a lot quicker. So that's my plan. I'm gonna try to dry it out a little bit with a hair dryer and then keep the fan on it. I won't put sulfur on it right now because if you put a thick coat of sulfur, it will trap in moisture, and I want it to dry out and heal up. Today is Sunday, July 21st, and I am standing next to my 1005 Clementz plant. The plant is getting bigger. It is growing. Some of the secondaries are growing, others really aren't doing much. And up by the pumpkin, not a lot of growth is happening. I do have vines to bury. I got them cleaned up yesterday so I can bury today. Just kind of waiting because it rained a whole bunch this morning again. But you can see there, I just showed it in a clip, but I just cleaned up the pumpkin. The blossom was rotting, so I cut it off, and think I got all the rot out. Now it's drying. I held a hair dryer on it for a while, and now I got the fan back on it. But I did dab it with alcohol, and in that bottle there, I have a 10 parts water, 1 part hydrogen peroxide that I sprayed on there as well. I'm hoping that kills any rot if there is any. But yeah, you can see the plant here. It's looking fairly healthy. It's just not as big as I was hoping for. Got really stunted during the really wet period when it couldn't get the nutrients. But the pumpkin is estimating, I think, about 151 pounds. It's day 25 today. So DAP 25. Over the past 5 days, because I took the first measurements on day 20, it's gained about 14.5 pounds a day. So not as fast as I'd like, but typically I see my biggest numbers between days 30 and 50. So hopefully it keeps picking it up. Thought I'd show you something while I'm over here. That is my wet patch there. This is our hay field that's behind the wet patch. We tried a couple different times to cut the hay back here, and it's just too wet. We did get some hay off yesterday before it rained this morning, but the hay that we did get off is garbage. We're just gonna either see if somebody wants it for their cows, or else we are just gonna get rid of it. The bales are wet. They got baled wet just because we wanted to get them off before it started raining again. But if you can see here, the field got tore up in places. This is right behind that wet patch there. But my dad, I'm pretty sure my dad said, because he's farmed this since he was little, but he's never seen this field this wet. That's all that was able to get cut, but like right there, that's all still standing first crop that hasn't been able to come off. And then back over there, it's too wet to even, you can't see it right now, but some of the hay we couldn't even bale because couldn't get the tractor where it was super wet there. But it just gives you an idea how wet it is here. This field has sounds like never been this wet before. So here is the 2501 Bernstrom plant. As you can see, those vines that I terminated early before, would be some of these vines right here. Terminated a couple feet from the fence, and they are all filling in to the fence. As you can see, these did. They get really big leaves at the end because all of the nitrogen's getting shot to the end of the vines. But yeah, you can see the plant is getting bigger. Maybe not as big as I'd like still, but the vines are still growing. I wish I had all of the space completely filled in, but it's going to be a while if I continue to let the plant grow. So here is a good view of how big some of these leaves get at the end. Can't even quite get it in there, but there's my hand next to one of the leaves at the end of these vines here. There is the pumpkin. If I can get over there carefully, I'll show you a little bit closer. It is day 27 on this pumpkin. It is estimating at just under 260 pounds. Not quite as big as what I'd like, but I did take first measurements at day 25, which I think, or day 20, which I think was in the last update. Since from day 20 to day 22, it gained just under 20 pounds a day. And then from days 22 to 25, it got up to about 24 pounds a day. And days 25 to 27, so the last 2 days, it's right about 30 pounds a day. So it is going up. We are going to have a couple cool days over the next 2 days. But then after that, it should be really good weather, which is going to line up really well with when I typically have my biggest growth days from days 30 to 50. We're going to have mid 80s or somewhere like low to mid 80s, and the lows at night are going to be in the low 60s. So it should be pretty ideal. So hopefully this one cranks it up pretty quick here and does a little bit of catch up to where I would like it to be. So here I was going to show you if you see this, I think that, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all that yellowing on the edge of these leaves is probably potassium deficiency. There should be a plenty of potash and potassium in the soil, but I don't think it is, and I've been giving them potassium, but I don't think the leaves up here are getting that potassium because there are no roots buried into the ground right now. I've been waiting for some of these secondaries to pop out. They haven't really popped out. I think the plant is just pulling too much nutrients right now, or the pumpkin's pulling too much nutrients from the plant. There is a secondary growing there, so soon I should be able to bury, and then hopefully this end of the plant can pull some of that nutrients out of the soil and doesn't get so deficient on stuff. That's where this video is going to wrap up. Thank you for following along. Thanks for subscribing. Please give the video a like, share it with some friends, and follow us on Instagram at The Turner Ranch. Thank you.